Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So if this is your first time watching any of my videos, my name is Lisette and I post makeup stuff. Keep on watching if you want to see what I create.
You got it, girl, you got it. I don't even wanna go around. Trips that you plan for the next whole week. Been so long for niggas so cheap and flex so deep.
So today is pretty much another day in quarantine. You guys probably could guess I don't have shit to do. I did my hair today. This is the first time I've straightened it since the day I cut it, and I think it looks pretty cute. But anyways, yeah, so since I did my hair, I just figured I don't have nothing to do. I just figured I would just get ready and, you know, just play with makeup. So also, don't mind Infinite Waters talking in the back. I was watching him before I decided I wanted to record something, but if you guys don't know who Infinite Waters is, you need to go watch his videos because he basically talks about like spiritual awakenings and like how to like understand like what you're going through. But his channel is like really mind-fucking. Like he'll really like be putting you on to some things. But yeah, I thought a 420 look would be kind of like fun. I just thought that would be something kind of like festive and like fun to do. I was actually watching Infinite Waters videos like I was saying, and he was basically kind of talking about like what was going on, but kind of like from a positive like perspective. And he was kind of just like sharing what he's learned during quarantine. I thought it was kind of like crazy because he was actually like mentioning a lot of things that I was thinking about. I'm not going to touch on like the negative things about what's going on. What I'm about to say is going to be like kind of like a positive perspective on like what's going on. So I think this is actually like worth sharing. Basically, he was just talking about like, you know, the things that he's learned during this quarantine. And one thing he had mentioned was that like, you know, he feels like this is teaching everybody like patience, which is like so true. I hear pretty often that you know, moms who have kids and like people who have families and stuff, especially more so like the moms and the dads, because the moms are usually the ones who stay home with like the kids while like the dad works for the first like few months. One thing I feel like a lot of people will mention when you're at home, you kind of just like go a little crazy, and whether if it's from, you know, postpartum depression. Not that I would know because I don't have any kids, but it would like make sense. And I think that would maybe like contribute to postpartum depression. It's just being home 24/7. I feel like I have so much respect for moms. It probably feels like forever because you're like, fuck, like I want to go out, like not go out like that, but like, you know, you want to not to say that like time with your baby is not like precious or like what's the word, like just like amazing, I guess, in a way, but because you're like, you know, obviously seeing your baby grow and like learn how to do things and stuff. I'm sure it's kind of in a way like when you're just in the house all the time, it's literally like you're quarantined for like the first like few months. Like, you know, like obviously you can't work, you're trying to get like a schedule going, like a routine down for yourself, and like, you know, and then you're going through all the emotions of just like giving birth, and just like, you know, obviously like that's not something that like everybody like understands. I'm kind of going on like a really long like rant, but the point I'm trying to make is that like you know, this is teaching everybody who isn't in like, that was just like an example, I guess, of like a position you could be in during this time. I feel like all of this is just kind of teaching everybody like a different type of patience that you may not have had before. Like everybody is just like always, you know, going to work, you know, like doing this and this and that to, you know, just whatever it is that you have to do. Oh no, my foundation's running out, I think. If anyone knows a hack of like how to like open your foundation bottle so you can scrape the bottom, let me know. This whole situation is just teaching everybody to like open their eyes, you know, like just to like pay attention to the things that we never paid attention to before, because obviously all we have is like time to sit and fucking think, which is why like it's easy to kind of, you know, during this time to get stuck in like a position where you're just like in your head and you're just like stressing because you're watching the news, you're reading like news articles, you're, you know what I mean, like you're seeing commercials on your phone when you're trying to like distract yourself. Almost like, you know how when you're little, or yeah, when you were little and like your grandparents or your like tias or like uncles or like, you know, just somebody who's like older than you who really went through some real life shit like this back like in their prime or back in their day. And we always make fun of them now for being like, oh, you know, like back in my day, like, you know, we would have, you know, we never used to like take that shit seriously. But now that, you know, like, it's crazy to think a lot of like older people have gone through real life situations like this, and this is things that we're just kind of like, yeah, but that happened like that was mad long ago, like that don't affect us now. I mean, of course to some extent it does, but it's just crazy how like the tables have turned. Like I bet you when we, like people of like this generation, like of youth or young adults, when we're older and we, or I don't know if we're having kids, or like when we do have kids and our kids are old enough to like understand like us and we can actually have like conversations with them about like real life and stuff, we're gonna be those parents telling them, oh, you know, like back when I was, you know, whatever in 2020, you know, we went through this, so like we would never be complaining about what you're going through, or like, you know, just like we're gonna, it's crazy to think that like we're actually gonna be those people like telling the youth like, you know, like, oh, we went through this pandemic in 2020 and you know we, you know, and we're honestly probably gonna appreciate life a lot more. It's crazy how like, and of course you really do have to think about it from some type of a, like positive perspective, because obviously like if you don't, you know, you could go fucking crazy during this time, which I know people really think they're going crazy, but at the same time we're being pretty fucking strong, because this is a really, obviously this is like the biggest thing that anyone who's, you know, probably like, I don't know, I could be wrong, but just like, I'm just kind of taking a wild guess here, but I want to say anybody who's probably like maybe born in like, let's say like the 80s to now, we really didn't know what a real life, like we might have like struggles, but this is like a struggle to a new extent, like that ass, like how I was saying, like how our grandparents and shit would be talking about like, oh, you know, I back in 19 you know, like we went through this, and you know that's why we had to live like this, and you know that's why we, you know, came to this country, or that's why we, you know, did this and this and that so our grandkids could have a better life. Like it's crazy because like, you know, it may not be the exact same thing, but in a way our story, what we're going through right now, is going to become like one of those like types of like, it's going to become that type of like a conversation just like meant to happen to like reset the world. Because I know there's like a lot of conspiracies of like what's going on in this period of time, but we probably will never know. It's obviously like a trip to like talk about and to kind of just like, I don't know if this is a word. I always say this though as if it's a word. I kind of just like, I don't know if I made it up or if it's real, but I always say like, you know, we can like conspiracize all we want and it's cool. It's like a fun thing to like kind of like discuss and like talk about and just like, you know, trip yourself out over. But at the end of the day, what we do know for sure is that it's almost like the world was just like meant to be like reset, so that way we can actually like, I don't know what exactly like the purpose was, besides like it was just meant for us to realize, like it was like, instead of like calling this like the Great Depression, they should be calling this the Great Realization, because this is like the biggest realization. I'm saying it now, like this is gonna be the world's, of this generation, like I said, this is gonna be the world's biggest like realization. I feel like I've been blending this foundation in for a fat minute, but I really didn't have a whole lot left. But honestly, every little thing that you complain about, like, ain't shit. Things that you make a big deal or you let yourself stress over, like, all that little shit that doesn't fucking matter, like, this is like the perfect example of like the point I'm trying to like get at, is that like, and this is all just like how I feel personally. You know, you guys don't have to like agree with me or anything, or if you do, cool. Like, you know, I think this is like kind of like a cool conversation to be having. We complain about like such dumb shit. Like, obviously we know in the back of our head that somebody out there has it worse. Not to say that what we have going on is not like, you know, effed up or like whatever the case. This makes me just like not want to complain about anything. Like, shit, this is teaching me how to save my money. This is teaching me, like, you know, just that little things that maybe I never thought I would want to do. Like, it just makes me want to go do them now. Like, I don't know, just like little things in life. I think the thing we are gonna get out of this is that everybody's just gonna be more aware of like what's really going on. Not what's really going on, I guess, but just people are gonna be more aware of just like, I don't know, like I feel like there's always gonna be, you know, like people who are just like, I don't know, like they don't really feel like the importance of just like being cool with one another, like walking out on the street and stuff. But it's just the fact that we're all going through this together. I don't feel like everybody's really gonna feel so much like they're better than the next person. Like everybody's gonna be very like humbled after this. It's crazy the thought that, like, you know how I was saying about how like our grandparents and stuff would tell us stories and we wouldn't really take them seriously and stuff. That generation, I feel like, was just like, they had a different type of character. Now us, as like, you know, like I said, like young, you know, just, or not just young people, but just everybody in this generation raising people or kids, or just like, you know, anybody who has like some type of influence on like younger people, we're gonna all have like a different, like better character after this. Maybe not everybody, because some people just aren't shit and they're never gonna be shit, but you know what I mean. Like anybody who is really looking at this whole situation from a positive like perspective is gonna have they're gonna have a different type of character, I feel like, and it's gonna be like a positive like chain effect. Yeah, I could keep going for like hella days, but I think I'll just leave it at that, because I think that's enough talking about crazy stuff. I like to talk about this. I mean, sometimes I feel like it's kind of nice to like look at things from a different perspective other than like, you know, what our bodies naturally want to think or like feel based on just like taking like too much info in from like the news and like you know, just like having to hear about everything 24/7. Like it just makes you, at least for me, I guess, like you know, don't get me wrong, I be having my days where I'm waking up in quarantine like, fuck this shit, like I got things to do, like this is slowing down my life. Something told me to put on Infinite Waters. The topic has been what I've been talking about, and kind of what's going on and how to like, you know, cope with everything. And it was kind of nice just like hearing somebody's perspective, somebody's positive perspective on like what's going on. Almost like when you know, if you're going through something and you're like venting to somebody about it and then they kind of like open your eyes to something, you know, it kind of just got me on a higher vibe, if you know what I mean. I thought maybe while we're doing makeup, you know, hopefully what I'm saying maybe opened your mind to thinking more positively about the situation. Obviously we're all, you know, with everything that's going on, sometimes it's hard to be creative, especially for me, because like I feel like I have my days where I'll just wake up and I'll be like, you know what, I had this like I'll just wake up with an idea in my head and I'm like, oh, I think I want to do this makeup look today because I've never done something like this, or like, you know, maybe I'm just like feeling more motivated than I was the day before. Even though I just started YouTube not that long ago, I feel like it would be nice to post, not only because I watch YouTube all the time, and I'm just like hoping that my favorite people posted something so I can have something to watch. And like even if they're not doing a whole lot, I'm kind of just like, you know, I feel like that's something that like a lot of the YouTubers I watch will be like saying is like, oh, you know, like sorry if like, you know, this vlog was like a little bit boring. We just wanted to, you know, kind of just show you guys what we've been up to. And obviously everybody's not up to nothing. Like everybody's at home not doing a damn thing, like, you know, but cleaning your house and making TikToks, I don't know, whatever the hell it is. But we're all doing the same shit. Unless you are lucky enough to have work going on, I'm pretty sure we're all in the same boat. So I mean, this is like, you know, this is what I'm doing, you know, like you know, thank God I have a hobby that I can do at home that keeps me occupied and makes me feel, you know, happy. I've seen like a lot of people even like, you know, just like coloring or like drawing, and like I know it might sound stupid and like pointless, but if I was y'all, I would just be trying to figure out what it is that you like to do in your free time and do it. Do what you can. I mean, even if you know, don't want to like, you don't necessarily have to like spend money or anything like that, you know, just even if it's just like reading a book or just doing something that maybe you like would make excuses for before as to why you wouldn't do it, you know, like I feel like there's a lot of things, at least for me, I feel like I low-key have like a lot of hobbies, and sometimes I'm just kind of like, I don't really have time, or I'm not feeling creative, or I'm not in the mood, or like whatever, and like I won't do things if I'm not in the mood, unless I'm in a mood and I'm trying to get out that mood, then maybe I'll do it. Me personally, I am lucky enough to have a lot of hobbies that I like to do at home. Like I said, I mean, if you don't, this is honestly the perfect time to discover one, because I'm always telling everybody, honestly, I feel like that's something I've actually mentioned to quite a few people before we even went through all this, like, is that, you know, if you don't have something that you like to do like in your free time, you should try to find something, whether it's like playing an instrument or just like taking a class, or like, you know, luckily I was like lucky enough to have done that, not my entire life, but there was a time where, you know, I was just always like involved in something. Like that's one thing I'm like so grateful for, is that I do know what I like to do, and I highly suggest if you don't, or if you haven't, you know, you don't even know if like you have a talent or like you have like a hobby that you like to do unless you actually like experiment and like do things. So now's the time, which that could be another benefit to what we're going through, is during the quarantine maybe you know, discovered a talent that you never knew that you had, or maybe you just discovered something that you like to do that you never thought that you would like to do, because you had all the time in the world to learn that you like to do it, or that you're good at doing it. So period. I don't know if I'm gonna call this like a chit chat video, or I'm gonna call this a 420 video, a 420 makeup video. I know I haven't really been like filling you guys in on what I've been using on my face. The first 3 products I used was the Fenty powder, the Too Faced foundation, and then the Jane Iredale Circle Delete concealer. So that's kind of my regular like everyday stuff, so I didn't really feel like it was necessary to really like mention those. I don't know why I'm out of breath right now. I'm so out of shape. That's one thing I need to start doing, is working out. So for my contour, I wanted to show you guys this because this is actually something I tried for the first time. So I've used it a couple times now, but this is the Mrs. Rodiel the Edit, I think that's what it's called. So it's basically like a contour kit. It has brightening powder. It has, I think it's designed to be a highlight. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you guys couldn't really like see. And then some kind of like peachy pink blushes, some contour shades, and then I'm guessing those are maybe like, I don't know. I think whenever I see like contour palettes like this, it's designed to be like highlight, banana powder, blush, contour, and then like bronzers, something along those lines. But so far I've used like these 2, and I really like it. I think it's pretty nice. It kind of reminds me honestly of the Hoola bronzer. I'm gonna be using the second to darkest color. I'm just gonna bronze first, and then I might throw in a little bit of that darker shade just to give me a little bit more shape since it's a little deeper toned. And then I'm gonna go in with this. Probably let's do something different. I tried this a couple days ago. I think I'm gonna go in with the pink shade. So when I apply my blush, what I've been doing is I like to kind of like roll it on my cheeks. I used to just kind of like blend it just all crazy like this, but I've realized this kind of gives me a more like smooth application. This little trick right here, just doing the concealer first, has really like changed my eyebrow game, like took it up to the next level. I don't know why, it almost kind of like gives you a guide, and then when you fill in your brows, it just looks so much better. So now that my brows are done, I'm gonna, oh, forgot something. Since I'm gonna do something green, I'm gonna be using the Take Me Back to Brazil palette, which I used for the first time the other day, and I actually really loved it. I did like an orangey look, so I posted it. Well, I didn't do it in front of the camera, but I did do one. But if you guys want to go see it, go check out my TikTok. If you guys haven't added me already, I'll put the name here again so you guys can go see what I did. It's pretty much like all these kind of like yellowy orangey colors, and it came out really cute. Oh, I do. Okay, so I'm actually gonna use my James Charles palette first. I'm gonna use this really dark green, and I'm gonna put that right in my crease. So now that I have that green pretty much applied where I want it, I'm gonna go into this lime green in the Take Me Back to Brazil palette and just swirl in my brush in there, and I'm gonna apply that above my greens. So what I'm gonna try to go for is I want to just kind of get that to look a little bit more diffused, but kind of transition into a lighter green.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side.
I think I want to go in with this, like, it's like a really neon green. I'm gonna put this on the inner and outer portion, so where that kind of little like white section is that I left on my bone right here, and then right here, almost like right next to my nose. I'm gonna take a little bit, this is the Jane Smooth Affair for Eyes eyeshadow primer in the shade Lemon. So this is like a yellow. I think I'm gonna take this. I feel like I want to try to cut the crease with this. I was gonna use like a concealer, but I think I want to try this because I've never actually tried this before. To my lid and stop right before my crease and kind of just stamp it a little bit, or like as much as I can. And then I'm gonna look up. Basically, I'm just kind of like stamping. If you apply the concealer a little bit lower on your lid and then you look up, it kind of leaves a little mark of concealer, which that tells you that that's where your eyelid skin touches the top of your crease. So that's pretty much would work as like your guide to like create your cut crease.
You said you were about to die, I guess the car is on E. But see, I ain't even tripping, cause I just chose to believe that somebody gon' come around and give me just what I need. I don't wanna see you flying, see you looking down and out. Coming to me crying, saying you miss having me around. Gave you chances and you blew it, you so easily influenced. All the times you told me beat it, now you gotta face the music, I'm saying.
I know that I gotta stay. See, I'll try to show you guys with my light. Okay, So I cut my crease and I stopped it about right here, and then just kind of like pat out the harsh edge with my finger, so that way it kind of looked a little softer. So we're gonna put eyeshadow in the corner and kind of blend everything out after, but I just wanted to show you kind of the progress of the cut crease so far. So I think this is what I want to kind of have. I don't know if I'm really in the mood to do like the whole like wing type cut crease, so I think I'm gonna leave it like this and then do the purple on the bottom. So for now, since that concealer is still fresh and wet, I'm gonna apply a little bit of eyeshadow on top. I'm gonna do this shimmery, it's very slightly shimmery, it's not like a sparkly shimmery, but this color right underneath this lime green right here in the second row, I'm basically just gonna coat my brush in that, and I'm gonna apply that right on top of where we put that concealer. So here I just applied it, blended it, that's pretty much it. On this side, I started to actually blend it onto my crease, but more at an angle and kind of further down by the lash line, the lower I get. And I'm kind of liking that gradient effect it's kind of leaving, so I'm gonna kind of replicate what I was doing on that side over here with whatever product is left on my brush. I really want to add, this is a clean blending brush, I actually just went over kind of like above my crease and kind of just used it to blend everything one more time, but there's nothing really more I want to add to the top. I think it looks pretty good. I might add a black wing because I haven't done that for a minute, so I think I might do that, but I'm gonna do the eyeshadow on the bottom first and then we'll move on to the wings after. I'm gonna take this lavender color in the James Charles palette, and that's what I'm gonna be applying as kind of like a transition shade, and then I'm gonna be going in with this kind of sparkly purple shade, and I'm gonna run that under my eyes on my waterline. I'm gonna be picking up that blending brush I used to kind of smooth everything out again, and I'm going to be using it to blend. See how it kind of, it doesn't look too bad, but it doesn't look like super seamless, the purple going into the green. So this is clean. I'm just going to take this to kind of blend those together, maybe even take it into the crease a little bit, just so that way there's not like a crazy like separation between the two. Blend that out real quick. Okay, so I'm going to be taking my Artist Couture highlight in Purple Dream. I'm going to be applying that to my brow bone. Spray, wet it a little bit. Came up on my Stila liquid eyeshadow. This is the Opal Ice, so I thought this would be really pretty to put in the inner corner, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put that right here.
Yeah. Why don't you love me, love me, love me? Touch me, touch me, touch me no more. Why don't you love me, love me?
I think I want to do Milk Jumbo Pencil, my next Jumbo Pencil in Milk. I guess that's what it is. Yes, this one right here.
Love me, love me, love me. Touch me, touch me, touch me. Love me, love me, love me.
Okay, so now that we're done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and do my wings. I think I'm gonna do those off camera because that's just like a little extra. And then I'm gonna do my mascara, lips, highlight, and then yeah, we'll wrap this up. Okay, so oh, he was on something. I was like, oh, wait a second. Okay, so I just did my wings and they came out so cute. And I just wanted to show you guys, I used a new eyeliner. This is the Clinique Pretty Easy liquid eyelining pen in, I think it's just a regular black. And this is the first time I actually used like a felt, oh, this is like the second time in my life I've used a felt tip eyeliner. And my wings came out so good and they look so cute. I don't know how this eyeliner wears obviously yet, since this is my first time wearing it, but I just wanted to show you guys. This is bomb. So if y'all haven't tried this, I mean, it's not like the mattest eyeliner, but application wise and with just like generally speaking how black it is, it looks so good. So I'll share that with you guys because that's like actually like surprised me. But now that I have my eyeliner on, I'm gonna be doing my lips and then I'm gonna apply my lashes. I'm gonna be using my MAC Chestnut to line my lips, and then for the lip color I'm gonna be using Ofra in Verona. It's kind of like a deep it's like this. I swatched it right there. And then inside I'm gonna be using the just to do something different, the NYX Lingerie Liquid Lip oh yeah, I guess that is what it's called. It's Lip Li 03, number 3, I guess. And then to top it off, I'm going to be using the Rodeo Collagen Boost Lip Lacquer in, which is basically a Rodeo lip gloss in Champagne Showers. So it's this really pretty, like, sparkly pink. So yeah, I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you guys how everything looks. Okay, so the look has been complete. This is how the eyes turned out. Also, I did change what I mentioned I was gonna do. So instead of the MAC lip liner, I actually went with my Morphe Chippy. And then I used the same other 3 for my lips. But these are the So Extra Mykonos lashes, the Lily lashes. But yeah, this is how the look turned out. I think it looks really cute. I mean, it's a little vibe. I think it looks really pretty. It's kind of simple, but I really like it. I think it came out really pretty. Oh yeah, and then I also did apply the Purple Dream highlight. Hopefully you guys liked this 420 inspired makeup look. I know it took a little long because we're, you know, just chopping it up. This was actually really fun to film. Just kind of like letting you guys know what I've had on my mind and kind of just, you know, playing around with makeup and kind of just, you know, creating something. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, I don't know if this was more about the makeup or just more of like a conversation I wanted to have, but I'm glad I did it. So yeah, drop a like if you guys liked this video, if you guys liked how the look came out. Perfect for, well, obviously there's not going to be like a hippie hill 420 this year, but I figured all my makeup lovers are probably still gonna have a beat face on 420 regardless of if they get to go to SF or not. I'm sure everyone's still gonna be doing their thing, just a little bit more low-key. So if anyone recreates this look, definitely let me know what you guys think, and I really hope you guys think about what I was talking about. Let me know how you guys have been coping, what you've been doing to stay busy. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to see more makeup videos and lifestyle videos. And yeah, all that good stuff. So see you guys in the next video. Bye.
My love, I'm gone. I need to be strong. The darkness and try.